Good Friday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We're live in Charlottesville, the country, the Commonwealth, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Good to be with you. Really good program lined up. Nick Ward's going to join us. He's a man who knows real estate inside and out. He's going to analyze some of the big-time shopping centers here in Charlottesville, their future, their risk, what's in store from them, from an activity and a demand standpoint. So Nick Ward's going to join us in about 18 minutes on the program, an investment analyst from Wide Moat Research. Kelly Jackson will join us as well. She's the star of the Women Changing Our World show that airs Mondays on the I Love CVille Network. We'll talk schools. A lot of school news out there from a county standpoint, from a city standpoint. We'll catch up with a mom of two who lives in the county, has a lot of friends in the city, and get her take on what the school board did yesterday. And of course, Mike and Saso are going to join us from Fabio's New York Pizza on High Street. We'll catch up with two small business owners that have a phenomenal restaurant and how they're managing COVID-19, some of their changes that they've made to stay afloat, and what we may expect for the rest of 2020. We're an advertising agency at I Love CVille and V&V Brands, 118 clients on our roster. A lot of clients we love working with, like Interstate Pest and Service Companies, a 4-generation strong business, Interstate, a home's best friend, Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Dr. Wagner changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, and physical therapy. I have seen it firsthand. And folks, we're very proud to welcome Ting with crazy fast internet to the broadcast. We have a special URL where you can save $280 from Ting and Fiber Internet. ilovecville.ting.com, ilovecville.ting.com, and through that link, you get a $280 discount on Ting, free installation and 1 month free. Judah, get that on screen. I'm ready to run headlines. If you guys could like and share the program, that would mean the world to us as we get started today on the I Love CVille Show. Judah, I think the first headline that we got to go to without question is schools. We've been following it very closely. I know you have as well. Why don't we start with Albemarle County and get the first headline on screen. Albemarle County is going to start online. Okay, we all saw this coming. We heard from the teachers. We understand the parents are split. Depending on the school system, pretty even split, with parents wanting kids to go back to in-person learning and parents wanting their children to stay home and learn virtually. The county's going to start online. Good move right there. We all saw this coming. We've been emphasizing this mentality of late on the program. Whatever you do for your children, that's the right decision for your children. You as parents know your children more than anybody else. So don't feel guilty about this. I know there's a lot of uncertainty. Albemarle is going to go from a virtual setting for a little while. Kelly Jackson will give us her take on the program for what the County Board of Supervisors did. Matt Haas, the superintendent of Albemarle County Schools, straight up said, look, if COVID cases spike, I'm going to move us back to a phase 1. If COVID cases improve, we'll see potentially more in-person learning in schools. Regardless, we're going to start digitally to start the school. The school year will start September 8th. We'll follow that very closely. As teachers now in Albemarle County and Judah, let's go to the city with the city headline. Now the county and the city teachers get ready to learn and to improve and to get a robust skill set, or a more robust skill set, with online learning. We know last semester things did not go that well from an online learning standpoint, but the positive with this semester, folks, is the teachers and the school systems have more infrastructure, more experience, and more time on their hands to better their execution, their integration, and their implementations for online learning. I'm excited to see what's in store. Do I think online learning is going to be even more prevalent as we head into the future? Absolutely. We'll see it at the collegiate level, and we're going to see it trickle down to the high school level, to the middle school level, to the elementary school level. I'll put it in perspective for you. We know there's a trickle-down impact on so many different aspects of life. Maybe it's the economy. Maybe it's what happens when you increase taxes. Maybe it's what happens in a big city like New York, and eventually it trickles down to a smaller city like Charlottesville. Maybe it's music. Maybe you see it with music on the West Coast, and how it influences music on the East Coast. There's trickle-over influences in everything in life. I'm seeing a trickle over influence that I think is going to get momentum and be magnified, certainly because of COVID. I'm watching business all over America. We have clients in Jersey, clients in Philly, clients outside Boston, clients in North Carolina, certainly across the Commonwealth. I'm doing Zoom and Skype meetings more than ever, and business is humming. So if moms and dads and folks that are running businesses are on a computer. Heck, I just hosted a show with Keith Smith, the distinguished gentleman who's 60 years young, earlier this morning called Real Talk. Keith is 60 years old. He did an entire 1-hour show with me via Skype that was absolutely flawless. So here's the trickle-down impact I'm seeing. Moms and dads in the business world are being more acclimated, or getting more acclimated, are feeling more comfortable doing in-person meetings via Skype, doing meetings via Skype or Zoom virtually. So as mom and dads in the business world become more accustomed to interacting with their clients, with their colleagues, with their partners, with folks on the supply chain, closing deals. If you're in the real estate community, you're doing virtual more than ever. As mom and dads in the business world become more comfortable doing business virtually, the trickle-down impact will certainly be felt at the school level. Is it going to take a little while? Perhaps, but I would not be surprised as teachers gain more confidence teaching and learning digitally. I would not be surprised if this becomes even more of an emphasized aspect of the curriculum. Now, let's do some comparing and contrasting. It's important we compare and contrast on this show because that's how we stay informed. As of today, every single private school in Charlottesville and in Central Virginia is planning an in-person curriculum and an in-person 2020 and 2021 school year. Could that change? Perhaps. Private schools are in a very different position than public schools. The private schools, they need your tuition. They rely on your tuition. They rely on the dollars from parents stroking big checks to keep their lights on. So the private schools certainly are feeling more pressure to have in-person education. They also have resources the public schools don't. They have massive amounts of land around their campuses. Have you been to the Blue Ridge School lately? Have you been to Fork Union Military Academy? Have you seen even St. Anne's Belfield and the land that they have around their campus? It's much easier to have an outside classroom on a private school because of the acreage around their campuses. They also have smaller classes. Because they have smaller classes, they're more nimble and easier to pivot their education and their curriculums. So private schools, and I can assure you, the teachers at these private schools are just as nervous as the teachers in the public schools about returning to in-person education. The private school teachers just don't have the level of communication, and frankly speaking, they risk losing their jobs if they don't go to school for in-person education because the private schools they work for are 100% going to do this. So I'm going to watch closely to see if the value proposition of private schools continues to be stronger than it's ever been. Right now, that is certainly the case. I'm going to watch closely as the headmasters and as the boards behind these private schools watch what happens with COVID-19 and as these cases continue to spike. Will they feel more influence or more pressure as these cases spike to maybe amend their approach to in-person education at private schools? Only time will tell. As of now, there is a clear line in the sand. And the clear line in the sand is the folks that are paying for education at private schools are going to learn face-to-face. The folks that are not paying for education at the public schools are going to learn, at least to start the semester, on a computer in their home and not face-to-face. We'll cover that story next week on the I Love CVille Show. Judah, let's remind everyone that's watching the program that they could save $280 through Ting, through the link that's on screen now, ilovecville.ting.com, ilovecville.ting.com, fiber internet at your home. You're going to be learning at your house, okay? Your kids into this year are going to be learning at their home. They need internet that can accommodate in-person learning at their house. Here's a way for you to save $280 through the I Love CVille Show with the best internet provider out there, and that's Ting and crazy fast internet. ilovecville.ting.com to save $280. Judah, my friend, next headline we should get to is one that I think is very important to a lot of people. This headline, and let me know when you have it on screen, is the University of Virginia. The University of Virginia has announced, and look at the screen and see the headline, please. They have announced that students have until August 5th, you heard me correctly, to notify the university about what they're going to do with student housing on grounds. So this is the housing that if you're a first year at UVA, when I was a first year, I was in old dorms, Dabney 101, okay? One of my best friends in life, Shana Maranzano, was my roommate in Dabney 101. After being in old dorms, and you have old dorms, you have new dorms, first years at UVA are required to stay on grounds in university-owned housing. When your second year happens at the university, you have more freedom to choose your housing. My friends and I, we were late in the game with picking our housing because we were more interested in drinking beer, chasing girls, and having fun than doing what was right because we were young, dumb, and, well, I'll leave it at that. So our second year, we stayed in university housing at a place called Lambeth Commons, Lambeth Field. It's the place there on Emmett Street, kind of across from the John Paul Jones Arena, kind of right by that bridge, right next to where the Panda Garden Buffet was, right before you get to Barracks Road. Just a phenomenal place. We were close to all our fraternity houses, we were close to the bars, and I guess we were close to the classrooms as well. So us, as first years and second years, we have until August 5th whether or not to notify UVA if we're going to stay on grounds in university-owned housing. So on August 5th, let's give them a couple days, say the 6th or 7th, the Charlottesville community, the Central Virginia community, the Albemarle County community, the university community will truly get a feel for students and their plans and intentions for being in Charlottesville with their mommy and daddy's credit cards to potentially help stimulate the economy. Many students already have notified the University of Virginia that they will not return to Charlottesville and they will not return to their university-controlled and managed housing, and instead will stay home at their respective homes, wherever that city may be, and they will learn virtually through a computer. Basically, all of the classes that are being offered in 2020 and 2021 at the University of Virginia have a virtual component to them. So students can say, I'm not going to go to Charlottesville, I'm instead going to learn through a computer virtually for 20 and 2021. Now, what's the cause and effect? You're asking about this. Well, it's dramatic. It is dramatic on a number of different levels. It's dramatic from a local economy standpoint, from a GDP stimulation standpoint here in the economy. It's dramatic from a housing standpoint in the economy, okay? So let's first look at the money situation. If students choose to stay at their homes, their respective cities, and not return to Charlottesville, and if they choose not to live in their dorms or in the Lambeth Commons of the world, then they are not coming to Charlottesville with their mommy and daddy's credit cards to spend money at the corner, to spend money at Barracks Road Shopping Center, to spend money in the downtown mall, to spend money in Midtown, to go to Carter's Mountain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as these numbers increase with people not returning to Charlottesville, and I certainly expect them to increase as we get closer to August 5th, we may have a concern that we're not going to have that 25,000 people that flood Charlottesville in August with their parents' credit cards looking to spend money in what is arguably the best 4 years of their life. Do I expect all students to stay home? No. Do I expect some? Yes. Am I curious to see, is it going to be more that stay home than come to Charlottesville? I'm very curious. If I was 18 and 19 again, would I learn virtually at my house in Williamsburg as opposed to coming to Charlottesville and learning in person? There's no way in heck I would stay in Williamsburg to learn. I love the freedom of being out of the house. I was raised strict Southern Baptist. I grew up in a Catholic private school, and I was raised in a Jewish neighborhood. Okay, a God-fearing person without question, almost a religious mutt, if you may. Strict Southern Baptist, Jewish neighborhood, Catholic education from 4th grade through senior year in high school. A religious mutt. One of the things, as I grew up a religious mutt, going to Sunday school, going to big church, going to youth group on Sunday evening, going to Wednesday night dinner, I literally, when I went to college, was overwhelmed with freedom. overwhelmed with freedom. So yes, I think if I could do it again in a 2020 situation, I would certainly do my schooling in Charlottesville. That being said, that's not going to be the case for everybody. So an important metric that we need to follow is what happens on August 5th, UVA's self-imposed deadline for notifying the school about whether you're going to live on grounds in UVA managed and controlled housing. Notify us by August 5th. We'll follow that closely on the I Love CVille show. The next one I want to get to, Judah Wickower, and give me a thumbs up, sir, when that's on screen, is Busch Gardens reopening. How about this? This surprised me. This surprised me a little bit. Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, my own stopping grounds, now on record saying we're going to open up the park in August. I grew up in Williamsburg. My brother and I, because my parents worked so hard as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, running an accounting, a CPA firm, we got what was called a Euro Splash Pass. And a Euro Splash Pass at Busch Gardens in Water Country, USA. Basically, for the entire summer, my brother and I had access to Busch Gardens and to Water Country. And we'd get dropped off at the park, Busch Gardens or Water Country. We'd meet our buddies, and for 3, 4, 5 hours, we'd stay in the park. We'd ride roller coasters. We'd go down water slides. We'd go to the lazy river. We'd go to the wave pool. We'd go to the Loch Ness Monster, Dragonfire, Apollo's Chariot, whatever it may be. And we'd hang out. So Busch Gardens reopening in early August. Kind of a surprise. King's Dominion has not made a decision in Richmond. Water Country USA, we still don't know about it. But the company that owns Busch Gardens has said they're going to open in early August. That's SeaWorld Entertainment, Inc. I'm going to follow this closely for a number of reasons. Reason number one I'm going to follow this is because this is an option for parents to do. We're in driving distance of Williamsburg, 2 hours away. This would be something fun for all of us. Get in a car, spend $80, $90, go to Busch Gardens for an afternoon. This is also an option to follow from a managing COVID standpoint. How is Busch Gardens, as it reopens its park, going to manage COVID and manage social distancing and safety and health? So if Busch Gardens has success in early August with reopening its park, this will influence other parks like King's Dominion. This will influence other tourist attractions to do the same. Also watch Disneyland and what Disneyland is doing with its theme park positions across the country. I'm going to watch Busch Gardens closely as it reopens in August. The next headline I want to get to, Judah, before we welcome Nick Ward to the program, is pickup spots. Pickup spots I covered yesterday on the show. Get the graphic on screen. I told you about Starbucks. Starbucks is changing its model. Starbucks is now having pickup spots where baristas work in a storefront that's off the beaten path, not Class A storefront. Okay? And these pickup spots, the baristas make the coffee and then walk it outside to you after you've ordered the coffee mobily on your app. Starbucks is hedging, and Starbucks is betting that it does not need Class A real estate as much anymore because people are ordering digitally. They don't want to hang in a store as much anymore because of fear of COVID, but they still want their coffee. Guess what? These pickup spots are now happening in Charlottesville. Roots Natural Kitchen. I know the owners of Roots Natural Kitchen, UVA grads. They're innovative. They tried to rent one of my offices in the Macklin building a couple years ago. That's when I struck up the friendship and the connection. These gentlemen that own Roots Natural Kitchen, they have financing by a big money investor. They are creating a pickup spot in Ix Art Park. So you can order your salad from Roots Natural Kitchen on your mobile app. And instead of going to the UVA corner to pick up at their restaurant your salad, they're having a pickup spot in Ix Art Park. Further incentivizing the pickup spot, they're offering you a free cup of coffee from Jaybird Coffee that is a coffee provider for Studio Ix over there at Ix Park. It's freaking brilliant. It is brilliant. So order through the mobile app instead of going to the hassle of trying to find parking on the corner. Instead of going to the hassle of driving across town because you want a salad, all you have to do is go to Ix. You can wait in your car. You can get a free cup of coffee, and the salad is run out to you. I mean, I see this as being very much a future for restaurants moving forward. Folks are less inclined to go into a restaurant now, especially if it's a grab-and-go type of item like a sandwich or a beverage. They are more inclined to wait outside their car, and as they wait outside the car, the coffee and food comes to them at a pickup spot. If this gets popular, this will devalue and marginalize Class A real estate. This is a topic I want to talk about with Nick Ward. In fact, why don't I do this? We'll keep the Notre Dame headline for later in the show. I'm going to reach out to Nick Ward now, Judah Wickhauer. I'm Skyping him as we speak. I'm going to talk to him about real estate and where we're going with real estate. I have Nick on the line. Nick, will go to you here very shortly. This gentleman, a smart dude. He is an investment analyst that specializes in REITs and real estate. Good friend of this program, UVA grad himself, one of the fastest guys that I know. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a beautiful child. And, dude, look at this hair. He's got beautiful hair, too. Nick, you're live for a lot of people right now. First, good afternoon, sir, and introduce yourself to the viewing public, if you could, before we talk shop, Nick.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks for having me, Jerry. Thanks for my wife, I don't think likes my hair as much as you do, so that's, I'm happy to hear somebody likes it.
It looks good, homie. It looks real good.
Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've cut it. I probably need, with COVID, there's no barbershops happening these days, so, taking social distancing is keeping the hair long. That's all right. But I guess you introduced me well. Like you said, local guy, grew up in town my whole life, went to UVA, went to Western Albemarle, worked with you. I feel like an old man joining you on the show today. We worked back when I was in high school. I interned with you at the for the sports rap show. So it's I don't know. Maybe that might make you feel older than me.
I do feel older than you. And one thing I've noticed about you, and I've known about you, is you have your pulse on a number of things. You have a voracious appetite for reading and improving yourself, and you have gone down a road of really becoming an insider when it comes to REITs. First, why don't we go layman's perspective first? What is a REIT for those that don't know?
Okay, yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to come on the show today. A REIT is essentially it's a publicly traded. Well, there are private REITs as well, but a REIT is a way for a lot of people like to own the idea of a rental property. I know you're kind of in that game a little bit, but a lot of people can't afford to put down big money on a actual physical property. So REITs are essentially stocks that give individual investors exposure to, real estate, different types of real estate throughout the world.
Good answer right there. We have some REITs in Charlottesville, Nick.
Well, there are no REITs in Charlottesville that I'm aware of, at least publicly traded REITs. However, there are properties throughout town that are owned by these REITs. Okay. And that's why, I do analyst work on the REIT sector, and I decided just to do a little experiment. Hey, how many local properties that we're all aware of here are owned by these large publicly traded companies? And it turns out there are, a handful. So I thought that'd be an interesting topic for conversation for the show. We all can't go buy Barracks Road Shopping Center, but we can own a very, very small piece of it through a equity investment.
Through Federal Realty. That owns Barracks Road Shopping Center. All right, let's break that one down. So, Nick, you grew up in this area. You've been in this area longer than me. I've been here since 2000. Since I've gotten to this area, Barracks Road Shopping Center was the spot for retail and shopping. And frankly speaking, it continues to be. It's densely populated. It's got good parking. It's in the heart of the city. The rents in Barracks Road Shopping Center are the highest per square foot. Maybe Stonefield competes with it with 1 and 2, but Barracks generally the highest. Let me ask this question and get out of your way so I can learn from you. Barracks Road Shopping Center, anywhere you want to go on that topic, and then I want to have some pointed questions. Your thoughts?
Like you said, that's Federal Realty. What they do is they specialize, they own shopping centers. So, if you picture Barracks Road, you sort of picture what most of their properties look like. But they, unlike a lot of other REITs, right now, a lot of these mall and shopping center REITs are really hurting, and FRT's share price is actually down a lot too due to COVID and sort of the pressures that we're seeing on the retail, just the physical retail market. But what Federal Realty does, and this is why I own them, it's why I follow them, it's that they focus on high quality real estate in areas with, high net worth individuals on average, like you said, high population density. They have a lot of sort of metrics that the properties and the centers have to meet to sort of, for them to invest in them. And that's, like you said, Barracks Road is, I think you're right, Stonefield probably can compete with it as far as like the blue chip shopping center in Charlottesville right now. But, Barracks Road is close to the university. And I think because of that, it's always going to be, in demand real estate.
Totally agree. Exposure with Barracks Road Shopping Center, how do you characterize it now? It seems from one person's perspective that commercial is a bit fragile. You're right, I have executive office space, and what I've seen is the folks that are in Class A and Class B from an office space, not retail, but just from an office space, the folks that are in A and B are trickling down the totem pole to my type of office space because they're trying to get out of that 8-year, 10-year lease with the escalator every year, and they want something that's a little bit more manageable in price as their employees choose to work from home and maybe need just a little place to catch up and meet with a client, print some paper, get online, or do a Zoom call, but not the type of headquarters that they previously needed where all their staff was coming to one spot. So it's been good for us. I want to talk retail, though, and commercial. What are your thoughts on the exposure, the fragility of Barracks and some of the Federal Realty properties right now?
Well, I think, like you said, I think that, like the A and the B, the best types of properties, Barracks Road being one, I think they're going to be fine long term. We've been worried about like the Amazon effect, sort of knocking out all physical retail for years now in the REIT space, but we're not really seeing that happen. You are seeing some of the weaker players. I think Fashion Square, I hate to mention it, but that's sort of an example of, a C, D type of mall, and you go in there and it's, kind of like a graveyard these days. So it really just comes down to location and the quality of the property. So in the retail space, we're not really seeing. We're still seeing high occupancy rates. I think Barracks is obviously showing that as well. That if something closes down there, it doesn't take long for it to be filled back up. But I do think you're right. There are threats, and if you're not owning the very best sort of properties, you are going to face threats from the work from home, things like that. Like you said, people don't need. Especially in the office space in particular, that's no matter how good your property is there, people worry, are offices even going to exist in like 10 years? Like with the internet, we may not even need that.
Yeah, he's exactly right. Do you see the type of tenant changing with the Class A spaces like Barracks, where it's more of an experiential tenant experience as opposed to a retail experience where someone's going to a brick and mortar and buying a pair of jeans? Maybe instead they're going to a brick and mortar in Barracks and having an experience like an exercise type deal that cannot be done so much online, where buying a pair of jeans can be done through a number of websites from someone's couch.
Well, that was the big trend. COVID has kind of just thrown that on its head. That was what all the publicly traded REITs were trying to do, diversify away from the traditional retail stores into the experiential retail, like you said, gyms, movie theaters, Topgolf, stuff like that. Places where you go to hang out. Starbucks has done a good job of doing that sort of thing. Starbucks isn't really a place where you buy coffee anymore. It's sort of like a place where you go hang out and use the internet and buy coffee. So that's sort of the trend. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that in Barracks. I don't really know the exact sort of lease agreements and things like that they are going. Like you said, I know these Federal likes the long term with the escalators. That's how they can sort of guarantee their shareholders cash flows. But in general, Federal doesn't do a lot of that right now. But a lot of the REITs are sort of moving to these sort of multi-purpose apartment buildings combined with office space, combined with retail, essentially creating these like micro communities where if you live there, everything you need is there, and that sort of creates demand.
You're seeing that certainly with Stonefield, owned by a private equity company out of New York. Stonefield's trying to do a live, work, play type of model as it's building apartments and high-end condos in Stonefield, and then encouraging the folks that live in these apartments and condos to then walk out and shop at Trader Joe's, go to the movie theater, have a beer at Champion Grill or at Burton's. So he's exactly right. Who has the most exposure then, do you think, of the REITs and of the shopping centers out there? You seem to indicate, and I don't want to assume, that's why I'm asking, you feel the blue chip A's are going to be strong long term. Does that mean that the B's or even the C's are the ones that are going to be devastated, demoralized, and depressed?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously speculative, and I guess I should have given this disclaimer at the beginning, but I'm not giving investment advice on this show just to cover my bases. But yeah, I do worry long term about sort of the weaker players. We're seeing like Federal it's got a 52-year dividend increase streak. So I mean, it was founded in the '60s, and it's been paying a dividend ever since. It's maintained its dividend throughout 2020 thus far, but we have seen quite a few smaller and weaker players cut those dividends just due to the pressures on their cash flows. So we are, I do think that, from an investment point of view, I'm focusing on quality. I don't see a lot of people are kind of like value hunting in these beaten down areas, for the weaker malls, for the office space, for the hotels. Like I said, there are a few hotels in Charlottesville that are also owned by publicly traded REITs, but there's no clarity right now on like when cash flows are going to turn back on for those types of industries. So personally, I'm not buying those names, but I'm just focusing on the quality of the names, like Federal. I feel confident that, in a decade or two, Barracks Road will still be hopping.
What am I missing here? You're dropping knowledge bombs left and right here. What are we missing? Keep educating us on topics and trends that we're not thinking of, that we should be thinking of, Nick.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is almost common sense at this point. Like, you look at how the world's changing, and COVID has accelerated this. But you're looking for trends. What am I doing now that I wasn't doing before, or what am I not doing now that I was doing before? Like you said, you don't need to go to the store to buy. The vast majority. I don't know about you, but I'm getting Amazon boxes on my porch.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But it's weird. I thought cardboard would be like the place to invest, but the paper companies are actually not doing so well. So I guess that's a flawed thesis. But no, I think it's kind of common sense. Just the world's changing, and so I just don't feel the need to sort of chase, value in some of these high yields that I'm seeing in some of the areas that have been beaten up by these changes. But like I said, I do think quality is always going to matter. Real estate's, this is always location, location, location. So whether you're looking at like a physical property or thinking about owning REITs, I think that should always be top of mind.
My wife, let me throw you what my wife did. So my wife, she's a phenomenal lady. We have a 2-year-old, a young son. You have a young child as well. She's very, very, very cautious and protective right now, as she should be. She went to Michael's and Barracks Road because we needed some framing. She bought it, Nick, all the stuff online. Then she pulled her car up in front of Michael's and Barracks. They ran it out to her. She asked the gentleman who ran the stuff out to her. He says, yeah, no one's coming in our store. Then my buddy, Bob Shada, he went to Best Buy. And he said, what the heck is going on here, Best Buy? All your shelves are bare. And the folks at Best Buy said, people aren't coming in. They're just buying online, and we're taking the stuff from our back stock and then just wheeling it outside to people who are parked in front of Best Buy, and then they're going on their way. This is the topic I throw to you. If this is the trend that's going to continue, and I think it will, because for millennials, for folks like us, our time is our most precious commodity. Why would we, lack of better phrase, piss it around by walking around aisles when we can just get exactly what we want online, stay in our car at air condition, and have it loaded into our trunk for us? How is that mindset going to influence the marketplace and Class A moving forward, Nick Ward?
Well, I think that's definitely the trend, and I don't see that changing. Like you said, adding the experiential component, we're seeing names like TJX,
TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods.
Home Goods, places like that. You go into those stores and you don't really know what you're going to buy, but you're there for they call it treasure hunt, basically, retail. So those sorts of things I think will be fine. People like, we're social beings. People sort of like to go sometimes to piss that time away if you're just looking for something to do. But in general, I do think a lot of like the big box stores, they're going to have to downsize. And from a real estate perspective, that's tough because that Best Buy,
it's humongous.
hard to release. Like the movie theaters they're struggling so much right now, and a lot of those are closing down. And the problem for those landlords is like, what else do you put in a movie theater? You can't just put another store in there that has experiential stuff or anything. You end up sitting on that real estate and having to sell it out a lot of times. So that it is an issue for certain industries. Like I said, the Class A, they're holding up strong so far with their occupancy rates and things like that. The big companies are always going to want to have some sort of retail footprint for branding purposes, like the Nikes of the world. They like seeing that check. Just you drive by it, you think about Nike, you might buy a pair of shoes or something. But no, in general, I think retail is definitely changing, and is not going to change anytime soon. It's definitely sort of a downward slope.
Do you see an emerging business? And this is just hypothesis right here, crystal ball time for you, sir. Do you see an emerging business that's coming to the market or already on the market that is a really good fit for these big box stores and these movie theaters that I'm not sure the future is super bright for them? Like, what kind of emerging business is best suited to go in a big box like a Michael's that may want to downsize because they don't need that much square footage and overhead anymore?
Well, I guess the boring answer is just like distribution. Like you said, that's what they've turned themselves into anyway, so they may as well just become a warehouse and have a bunch of vans. I guess in 10 years these vans might be automated. Could just be a warehouse run by robots. Essentially, that's kind of like the big vision, crazy future thing. Other things. You hear some people try things like laser tag or fun things to go do and try like that. But like I said, with COVID, that whole movement has just been stopped dead because people aren't going to retail. That you can't go play games and stuff right now either. So it'll be interesting to see, if we get a vaccine or a treatment or something, how that all, how quickly those types of businesses bounce back. Topgolf, for instance, was like booming. That was such a big business, just a year ago, and now, they're really struggling.
I'm curious of your thoughts on how this could influence rents. So here's a good question for you. Stonefield, for example, is pricing its rents because it has a movie theater in its shopping center. So Stonefield, the ownership of the shopping center, says, you guys have a movie theater where people are going to stay sticky and shop before the movie and stay sticky and window shop after the movie. Because we have such a destination type of business in the movie theater here, we're going to leverage that to increase rents for the shopping center. Do we think, and I'm getting out of your way, you're the expert here, do we think that if the big boxes become distribution hubs, and if they become distribution hubs, they're not going to need the 85, 90 per square, big box retail setting with 50,000 square feet. They're just not going to need that anymore. If these movie theaters and these big boxes choose to pivot elsewhere, how does that impact the rents for the shopping center and all the other businesses around in that shopping center that want to associate themselves with the customers that go to a movie theater?
The simple question is they're going to go down. It's just supply and demand. We're seeing, apartment rents right now dropping. Some of the major apartment REITs have reported earnings this week, and we're seeing sort of rents drop across the board. The big long leases on a lot of these physical retail locations, that's like a slower process. You're going to have these leases come off the books, and then we'll see where they're sort of renegotiated at. But, anchor tenants, it used to be the Sears and the JCPenney's, and now it's sort of shifted to like, the movie theaters and the ice rinks, experiential type things. And if those can't, draw in the consumers, I think rents have to fall. So it's, I'm definitely not envious of anyone that owns a place like Stonefield right now. I'm happy to, I like to stay diversified with some real estate exposure, but I'm happy that that's not, I don't have all my eggs in that basket because it's a tough business right now.
How does this impact, Nick? I have a lot of skin in the game downtown. A lot of people have a lot of skin in the game downtown. How does this impact a very macro ecosystem like the downtown mall that's owned by a bunch of private individual landlords? Is there a cause and effect or correlation of any kind that you can see?
I'm looking at, when I say macro, I'm thinking like global with, thousands of properties. So it's not, Charlottesville, to me, the downtown mall specifically, if I had to guess, I would say that involves this sort of location. That's a high quality area, I would think that traffic would remain high. It's a destination. It's it's a great place to go hang out. So supply and demand always will rule the market, and if we can't find tenants or if consumers don't come back, rents will fall everywhere, including the downtown mall. But if I had to guess, once we get past this pandemic, I would have to think downtown would be fine again. I'm sure people are raring to get out, and I've seen a lot of your posts. I know there's parking issues. There's it's congested. Some people don't like that aspect of that area, but as a local myself, I'm definitely looking forward to heading back downtown and enjoying the mall once it's considered safe.
Me too, homie. Me too. Cold beer, our kids in a stroller, our beautiful wives next to us, and some live music at Fridays After 5 at the Pavilion with Skip Hudgens and Darren Maynard in their go-to spot outside Fridays After 5. I mean, that sounds like a hell of a time for both of us right there. All right, let me throw this to you. Final word, anywhere you want to go. For one thing, I think we should do this more often. You're extremely knowledgeable, and you made us better today. Final word, anywhere you want to go, any topic. The show is yours, Nick.
Yeah, I'm happy to come back. Like I said, I have a little list here of the other properties, but we can talk about those. We kind of focused on Stonefield.
Oh, I would love to hear that list. I would love to hear that list.
Oh, pull up the document. Yeah, so this is how we can end it. So, if like I said, Federal Realty owns, what I say, they have 3,000 tenants, over 100 properties. So Barracks Road, we're talking from a local perspective. That is a very small part of their overall portfolio. So when you buy a share, it's not like, don't think you're getting a big piece of Barracks Road or anything like that. But some of the other REITs that Bear Reit is a large cap REIT, 7 billion market cap. They own the Red Lobster restaurant on 29. So if you're a big Red Lobster fan and you want to own real, you're looking at REITs, that might be something to look into. Public Storage, they just own all these self-storage facilities. They own the Public Storage at 1616 Seminole Trail, ticker symbol PSA. So they've been a great company over the years. They have a $34 billion market cap, so they're a massive company. Obviously, that Charlottesville location is just a teeny drop in the bucket for them, but that's something to think about. Another one that we have here is the Monmouth Real Estate Investment Corp. They own industrial properties. They own the FedEx Distribution Center in Charlottesville. I think that's out in Earlysville, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be on 29. I can't remember. I tried to Google it, and there's too many to show up. Service Properties Trust, ticker symbol SCV. They own the Residence Inn on Millmont Street behind Barracks Road. So that's sort of a smaller hotel. They're a small company, 1.1 billion market cap. Another hotel in Charlottesville, the Courtyard by Marriott, across from the hospital there, near on the corner. They're owned by Apple Hospitality, and just to be confused, it's not the iPhone Apple. It's a different Apple, but ticker symbol APLE. That's a stock of local interest, I suppose. They own 233 hotels, but one of them is the Courtyard there, on across from the hospital. And I think the last, there could be more. It's hard to kind of look for individual names. I was just curious about local, so I looked into it. And the last thing I found was the Morningside of Charlottesville. The senior living facility is owned by Diversified Healthcare Trust, ticker symbol DHC. They're the smallest company I'm mentioning here with $942 million market cap. They own 416 properties, sort of medical office buildings, wellness centers, and senior living communities. So Morningside of Charlottesville is one of those communities.
Dude, he killed it. Nick, you killed it. I feel like we're at 1400 a.m. right now on a Saturday between 10 and 11, dissecting Steve Isaac's triple wing offense right now with Nick the Quick Ward. Dude, you killed it.
Yeah. You want to get the high school sports show, you get Bart Isley in here, and we can, take
the
off with
fabulous
that.
Bart Isley from Scrimmage Play. Nick, I'm going to reach out to you again. Seriously, man. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be
You
here.
have a
Thanks,
good
Jared.
one. Nick Ward, well done. I mean, the man was just on point right now. We're going to go to Kelly Jackson, Judah. I'm going to get Kelly on the line. Kelly Jackson, of course, the co-star of Women Changing Our World, which airs on the I Love CVille Network on Mondays at 10:15 a.m. We'll get a feel for what Kelly has on the show. She is on the line. Kelly, I can't wait to talk to you here. Judah, give me the thumbs up. We're getting the thumbs up from Judah now. So, Kelly, you are live. First, hello. Good afternoon. And I'm going to get out of your way here. How about the county schools first? What'd you make of the decisions yesterday?
Well, it was interesting. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. It was a very long, grueling, boring 4 hours.
It's like paint drying, right?
Gosh,
I know.
Yes. But it was important.
Right.
I'm glad they had the meeting. I'm glad. I think they made the best decision they could. Vicki Hobson, who we had on the show, that helped create that teacher letter, had a lot of compelling things, a lot of questions that they couldn't answer. I think they listened to the teachers the best they could. And then the second letter, that was written to the school board was about special needs students and their need to come back. So I think they addressed the loudest voices and the most greatest need that they could. I mean, my concern though is, Jim,
Yeah, what's your concern? I have to ask that.
Okay, so I have a lot of concerns. What are working parents going to do if they have small kids? Who's watching these kids?
It's a good concern.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are employers going to be expected to let their employees bring their children to work?
Well,
I don't
let
know.
me ask you this question. You're
Sure.
an employer. You have a hell of a lot of employees.
Right.
Is that a conversation that's being had?
We're trying to do everything we can to support our employees. And each employee has specific needs. Maybe their husbands work certain times. They work certain times. So we're trying to be flexible with schedules, if that's what they need. We're going to be flexible and trying to work with them with helping them find childcare. We just have to take it on an each individual basis. But we love our employees, and we're going to do everything we can to make whatever work for them.
What did you make of, and I like seeing this, the students where English is a second language or special needs kids, they have an opportunity to be in the classroom. Thoughts on that, Kelly?
That's great. I think those are specific, individualized, situations where those children need to be there. So I think that was a good choice. I liked their phase approach because they're not committing just one thing or another. They're going to use science, which I think is smart,
right?
To make these decisions. But I was listening to you earlier. I think it's interesting. Well, first of all, how long are the private schools really going to stay open? I don't know.
Okay, well,
are they?
You have insight on that. Okay, so Kelly. Okay, this is why we're welcoming Kelly for this topic. She's a talented broadcaster. She has a great show on Women Changing Our World, Mondays at 10:15 with Jamie Schwartz. She's a mom of two. She has a hell of a lot of employees with 16 Panera Breads. One of her children has asthma, right?
Yes.
Severe asthma, so she's very cautious about health because of this. She has ties to the private schools. I mean, so you're very qualified here to offer some perspective here. I mean, are we thinking? You're a betting woman because you're a businesswoman and an entrepreneur? Are you thinking that the private schools eventually are not going to do in person?
Yes, they're going to have to. So there's this interactive map. You can see it like on CNN website, CDC website, whatever. It's this interactive map where you can click on your county, and it tells you the probability of how many students going into each individual school the first week are likely to have COVID.
And what did it say?
In Albemarle County, for the first week, okay, so we're talking one school. 1 to 4 kids are going to show up the first week of school with COVID.
Yikes. That's a lot.
I mean, and then what do you do? I mean, listen, flu season starts, it's donezo. But I think the public schools, like you said earlier, the private schools have to open initially, because otherwise I think parents would go back to the school and be like, hey,
give us our money back.
I'm not spending that $15,000.
Yeah.
So I think they have no choice.
I think she's 1,000% right. 1,000% right. All right, so here's a tough question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a kid in private school. Let's say the school opens in person.
Right.
Then let's say the school then has to go virtual.
Right.
What do the Jacksons do?
Well, our situation is a little different because I have a severely immune compromised kid. In end of January, beginning of February, she was in the PIC unit at UVA on a CPAP breathing machine. Basically, it's like intubation machine without having the tube down your throat. They think she could have already had COVID, but you can get it again, I guess. I'm not risking it. For my personal situation, I hired a private teacher to teach online for my first grader. I am not qualified to teach anything in first grade. And my oldest will be doing distance learning because I can't send one and not send the, I mean, I can't.
I totally get it. You can't take the risk. Okay, how about your friends then? How about your friends, the moms and dads? If you start in person at a private and then the private pivots to virtual because of a spike, do we think that those parents are then going to ask for some money back? I certainly would.
I think so, but also I think if you're willing to pay that money, you're really committed to that school.
Okay.
And you want that school to be able to reopen when all of this is over. So my hope is that a majority of the parents that can afford it and continue to pay full price, I think they will, for the overall well-being and the finances of the private school.
Good take right there, because you're saying if the tuitions don't stay consistent or if money has to reimburse, then the potential business model, and private schools are a business, they just happen to be in the business of learning, then the potential business model would crumble?
I think so. And then, you expect kind of a higher level of education, a higher level of facilities, a higher level of different classes offered. And I think a majority of private school parents will continue to pay. They're not going to like it, but I think they'll do it because they want the school to succeed and also have the funds to implement these STEM science labs or to pay the best teachers. I think they're going to be willing to make the sacrifice. Not everybody, but I think a lot.
Did you have any compare and contrast or anything stood out when you were looking at the county plan versus the city plan for reopening with the schools?
I liked the county plan with the stages better.
Okay.
But I can't really voice my opinion on either because they haven't sent out exactly what this distance learning is going to look like. But I did like that the county said anybody who doesn't have a computer, they're going to get a Chromebook, and then the county is going to pay for them to get internet. Well done.
That's legit.
Well done, county school.
Yeah, that's legit because the value of the internet piece we take for granted, and not everybody has access to, you're going to like this, crazy fast internet from Ting at ilovecville.ting.com. Put the lower third on screen, Judah Wickower.
Like and share, Jerry. Like and share.
I love this lady. All right, what am I missing?
Here's another topic.
Please.
Still schools.
Okay.
How far behind are the public school kids going to be when COVID is over versus the private school kids?
That's a good topic. What's your motherly instinct say?
Private school kids are going to succeed. Public school kids are going to have a hard time.
Why do you think that?
I think a lot of private school kids have parents that can stay at home, like work from home. I think they have the funds and the resources. If their child's not doing a great job with the virtual learning, they can hire tutors. They can hire somebody to help them after school hours. They're going to have more resources because they have more money.
How's that going to impact? Okay, here's the toughest question, and this is a freaking entire show topic here. How's that going to impact society, Kelly?
The rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer, is my guess.
Yeah, you're right. I hate it. You're 100% right. That's 100% what's going to happen.
I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. You're 100% right.
But think of colleges. Think of juniors this year. Right? Private school kids are probably going to get a better online education, is my guess. Not because public schools don't have the amount of money and resources. That's just true.
That's a fact.
So That's fact. So, when kids are applying to colleges, if they're not like good online students, too bad for them.
Oh,
I guess
you're so
is the
right.
situation, right?
I know. Do you think this prioritizes the standardized tests more than ever, though? Because maybe that shows even playing field, or do you think it devalues and deprioritizes the standard tests?
I think it deprioritizes the standard tests.
How so?
Because I think we were starting to move in that direction anyway.
Uh-huh.
And I think because there's going to be such a difference in learning abilities, I think my hope and my thought is that universities then are going to look at the kid as a whole. What do they do in their community? Do they work? What are their interests? What do they want to be when they grow up? Do they volunteer? I think schools are going to have to take that in way more consideration than what somebody gets on an SAT.
Good take right there. What's in store for Monday? Women Changing Our World, 10:15 a.m.
Oh, we have so many great people. We have, Cameron Webb, who's running.
Yeah.
His amazing wife, who is a doctor. She is a children's book author. She wrote a book on COVID for kids that she's giving away for free.
Wow.
She's going to be phenomenal. She's going to be on. And then we have Local Feast coming on.
Erin's watching right now. Erin King?
We are so excited. And she's like so we're going to test her product. So her product review, our section of product reviews. We're going to test some of her favorite things from Feast. And then we have a few other products. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be silly. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. 10:15 a.m., guys, Women Changing Our World. Erin King literally watching you now. You're going to love Erin. She is our kind of people.
I love it, and why I love Feast.
Yeah.
Who does not love Feast?
Feast is the best. She rolls the same way we roll.
Yes.
So thank you, my friend, and I will see you Monday.
Have a beer. Have a beer tonight. Celebrate the weekend. You deserve it.
I'm going to. You too. You have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
We're going to go out to Fabio's. Let's go to High Street and welcome Fabio's. Mike and Saso from Fabio's. If you guys are watching, we just got the fabulous lunch dropped off by Saso's beautiful, beautiful lady, his beautiful girlfriend. So I have lunch from Fabio's right over there that I'm going to get to. It's ringing, Mike and Saso. If you guys are there, we're excited to welcome you to the show. Fabio's on High Street. They do a phenomenal job on High Street. I love these two gentlemen with a burning passion. Their food from the heart and priced fairly. Judah, do I get the green light to welcome Mike and Saso to the show? I do have the green light. Gentlemen, hello. How are you guys?
Jerry, how you doing?
How you doing, Jerry?
We're doing well. How are you guys doing? Give us the update from Fabio's.
The update. It's been a little crazy. Taking it little by little as it comes.
Yeah? The community. How's the community, Mike, been responding to you guys?
Really well, to be honest with you. Everybody is happy with the new setup that we did. And to be honest with you, we trying to make more changes inside and getting ready for hopefully when we're going to open up the dining room. So far, everything, it's looking pretty good on our end.
Saso, are you seeing customers excited to return back to eating inside the restaurant, or is what people are thinking mainly the grab and go, which is killing it for you, the takeout, which is killing it right now?
So I'm not gonna lie to you, we get about 4 or 5 calls a day saying, "Hey, is your dining room open?"
Wow.
So
there's one right there. There's one right there, Saso. So you guys are trying to do it. What changes are you making to maybe do this?
So one change that we definitely had to make was, the takeout has always been part of our business. Pizza and takeout, they just go very well together. But now we have to completely shift part of our business to where we're able to accommodate the online ordering, the curbside pickup, the third-party delivery platforms, to where those people don't even have to come in the building. It's literally just a corner of our restaurant saved specifically for that purpose, because it seems like it's taken a big shift toward the online world, whether it's carry out, whether it's delivery, people. So so there's still the people who, of course, want to get out. They want to sit in the patio. They want to have that experience of dining in and having a beer at the same time. But there's also the people who don't want to even have to get out of the car. They just pull up. Here's your food. We'll see you later.
Do we think, Mike, that that's going to be even more of the future? The grab and go, the leave, the carry out, as opposed to the in-person? And the follow-up to that question is, how does that make you feel, Mike? Because you love being around people and seeing your customers.
So, Jerry, yes, I do believe it's going to be the new future for our business. Basically, everything, it's kind of like Saso just said, it's shifting online. It's going to be a big part of our business. That's why we're trying to set them up. But I don't know, like I told you before, we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to take it day by day. We're going to try to make everybody happy. The customers, a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm so spoiled for your pickup and curbside. What's going to happen when all this is going to be over? You get that kind of people. And then you get the customers where they say, I'm tired of this. I want to dine in. So we're trying our best to accommodate and make everybody happy, but hopefully, like I said, one day we'll be able to, serve everybody the way they want it and try to make everybody happy.
I love what you guys are doing with pickup and carry out. I go, I pay, I get a great price, just like everybody else. The food is amazing. Saso's beautiful girlfriend runs the food out to the car. I mean, I'm there for 4 minutes and I leave, and then I have the food at my house for Friday pizza, and my family is happy. I mean, you guys have made this flawless. Can I ask you this question right here? How much of the percentage of the business do you think is takeout, carry out, and pickup, and what you think that percentage of the business is going to increase to? You don't have to give me dollars amounts, just maybe a percentage.
Well, let me show you the box that we have ready back here, because we're not using a single dish. Everything is in boxes. This is prepped for a Friday night. Obviously, there's way more boxes than we would on a normal day. I don't know, Mike. What would you say?
Well, I would say right now, with during the COVID and everything shifted to. We lost about 30% of the business. I'll be honest with you. But the other 70, it's going towards pickup, curbside, and delivery.
Did the pickup, curbside, and delivery make up for the 30% that was lost, which was dine-in?
It could, but since we're using a third-party companies for delivery, as you know, their fees, outrageous.
It's brutal, right?
It is brutal. But, I mean, as right now, we got no other choice. So as long as customers and our community is happy and we can deliver our food to them, we're okay with that.
Did you guys think about it all of having an in-house delivery guy, or do you not want to go down that road?
It's a little hard. Those third-party platforms, they charge the customers plenty of money, because, I mean, you try to order delivery, you're paying anywhere from $3 to $6 just for a delivery fee. Then you have to tip the driver. Your average ticket that straight up from the restaurant would be maybe $40. You can end up paying up to $55, $60 just between fees and everything. And those fees for different platforms, they can run anywhere from 25 to 35% to use their platform for the credit card processing. Just all sorts of fees I cannot even list off. But still, you pay that 25, 35%, but is it better than having your own drivers, having to pay for insurance for them, having to make sure that you're still responsible for the food once the food leaves the premise? Probably, I think the best thing about the third-party online platform is that we're only responsible for making the food. Once the food leaves the kitchen, it's up to them to take care and make sure the food gets to the right place, make sure that the customers have to make sure that the customer gets a bad item, they will replace it for you. If there is any delivery accidents. So it's been kind of like a limbo. The commodity of it, the convenience of it it's very convenient. However, cost comparison to having your own driver to the third parties, you might be able to save a little money. It just all depends what kind of headaches are you looking to have.
It sounds like, Mike, you and Saso have talked about this. I can tell already you guys have talked about this, haven't you?
I mean, we talk about it to go with our own driver, but like you say, you know, like Saso say, it depends what kind of headaches you want it, you know? And right now, to be honest with you, you know, even if times they're tough, we'd rather have a little less headaches. So we kind of forced, that's like I said before, we kind of forced to use them, you know? But hopefully when everything goes back to normal, we might work it out a little different.
I love it. I love it. Guys, flood these guys with orders this weekend. Fabio's has got some of the best sandwiches and pizza in Virginia. Their steak and cheese, I'm going to straight up say it, and I'm going to catch a lot of hell for saying this. They have the best steak and cheese in Charlottesville, and it's not even close. It is the best steak and cheese in Charlottesville, and it's not even close. And I'm going to get ripped from the other chefs and restaurant owners for saying that. Theirs is the best. How many boxes do you have behind you there? I mean, and will all these boxes be gone, Saso, tonight?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. I love that. How many boxes on a normal Friday night, Saso?
Honestly, Jerry, I don't know. But if we don't have enough, we'll get to the part of the night where
just fold boxes.
We have the dinner rush, and then you just have to yell, "Okay, everybody, stop and fold!" You know, and you have the one server runs back here and just start folding boxes super quickly. So we overstock just to make sure that doesn't have to happen.
I love it. I love it. All right, Mike, get us out of here, Mike, on this note. We are a platform of hope at I Love CVille. We love Charlottesville. We love small businesses. And you got a lot of people watching here. How about a message of hope from Fabio's on High Street for everybody, Mike?
Well, like always, I want to thank you, Jerry, for the opportunity to be part of your I Love CVille family. And like I always say, I love Charlottesville community. We try to do our best and we can for our community. And we do want to say thank you for all the support. And then hopefully to everybody stay safe so we can fight this together and go back to normal lives the way it was before.
Well said, guys. This is the order you need to do. You need to get a pepperoni pie, get the biggest one possible, get 6 to 12 garlic knots from these guys, and make sure you get a steak and cheese. Okay? I swear to God, if you guys do this, your wife and your kids will be happy. And I don't know about you guys, but when my wife and my kid is happy, then I'm happy. Okay? These guys make my wife and my kid happy. And that's why I like these guys, okay? I freaking love you guys. Mike and Saso, we'll see you soon. Thank you for lunch. I love you guys. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You have a good one, guys. Take care. Take care. Love these guys. I'm telling you, it is the best cheesesteak in Charlottesville. It is the best steak and cheese in Charlottesville. Take my word for it. Order it. The guys are freaking bona fide. I love what they are doing over there. This was a good show. A lot of well-rounded perspective on the I Love CVille show today. I'm very grateful for everybody watching. Wow, Ray Cadell, Mike and Saso. Ray Cadell just put this on there. Ray Cadell said, "I'm picking up my order now." Literally, I am picking up my order now. I am a huge fan of these guys. It is the best steak and cheese for sure. I'm literally watching your show in line right now, picking up a steak and cheese. Ray Cadell is in line picking up his cheesesteak at Fabio's, watching the show. Ray, I just relayed this message on air. I freaking love you, Ray. Rhonda Reinhardt is watching the program. Rhonda Reinhardt says, if Disney World, if Busch Gardens, hotels, and airlines are allowed to operate, then the CDC should let cruise lines open back up with the incredible safety protocols they have put in place. Rhonda Reinhardt of the travel industry offers that perspective. Disney World and Busch Gardens opening. Hotels opening. You have American Airlines who is not even requiring an open seat between passengers. Do you hear what I'm saying? American Airlines, you can ride in their airplane. You have to have a mask on. but they are not keeping the middle seat open. Rhonda says, Reinhardt, if Disney World, Busch Gardens, hotels, and airlines can operate like this, then the CDC should allow cruise ships to open back up. Interesting. Andre Xavier makes this point. Is the pickup location the new version of a ghost or cloud kitchen? Great comment from Andre Xavier. So this is what we're seeing. Roots Natural Kitchen, we're seeing the pickup location come to Charlottesville. Roots Natural Kitchen has its location on the UVA corner. That's its proper main location in Charlottesville. Roots Natural Kitchen now is introduced, it's just introducing it now, a pickup location from a hole in the wall in Ix. Okay? They're saying you can order your food online on the app like this, and then you can go to Ix and pick up the salad in person without going inside and have the salad run out to your car. And if you do it this way, you also get a free cup of coffee from Jaybird Coffee, the coffee provider at Ix Park. It is freaking genius. It is freaking genius. We may literally be watching the devaluation of Class A before our very eyes. My wife went to Michael's and Barracks Road. The only escalator in the city of Charlottesville is at Michael's and Barracks Road Shopping Center. She ordered frames online, went to Michael's, parked in front of it, and the frames were put in her trunk. She did not even roll down the window. She just waved to the person through the window, popped her trunk from inside, the frames were dropped, the trunk was closed, and she left. If you're Michael's, why do you need 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, whatever the square footage is over there? The place is freaking ginormous. Why do you need 85, 70, whatever the price is, $60 a square foot, 50 a square foot, whatever it is? Why do you need that if you're essentially running a distribution hub? Why do you need that? Why do you need that? And if you then go into the distribution hub model, it's essentially the Amazon model. It is the Amazon model, the distribution hub model. If you go to the distribution hub model, what the heck is going to happen to these big box stores that are 20, 30, 40,000 square feet, whatever it is? What business legitimately needs that much square feet? Now, Nick made some good points. The Top Golfs of the world do. But Top Golf, more of an outside experience. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. This could be the new variation of, like Andre said, of the ghost or cloud kitchen. Samantha Savage, hello. Thank you, Jerry. We always love having you. I love seeing you at Fabio's, Samantha. I really, really do. Thank you for dropping off lunch. Jason Burke is watching in Los Angeles. He's helping to save Little John's. Jeff Camrath, the car wash entrepreneur, watching the program. Scott Williams, the education entrepreneur, watching the program. Give it a like, give it a share. Curtis Shaver, hello. I believe watching at Peloton Station. Welcome to the broadcast. Today was a good show. Very good show. Why don't we save the Notre Dame headline for tomorrow? And why don't we get the opportunity with Ting back on screen? Guys, you need fiber internet more than ever right now. And I Love CVille has done a partnership with Ting where you can get fiber internet, crazy fast internet, the fastest internet you could possibly get through ilovecville.ting.com. Put that on screen, Judah. Look at the link on screen. ilovecville.ting.com. This is the lowest price deal that you can get, crazy fast internet. Free installation and a month free. All you have to do is put your address in there and you sign up. We're getting it. I mean, don't set the family back and don't set kids back with your education with having buffering and crappy internet. Okay? Here's a way for you to save $280. I mean, that's like an electric bill and a water bill, right? That's like a grocery bill for a week or 2 weeks, depending on the size of your family. Judah, you did a hell of a job today. Judah Wickower is the director. Special thanks to Saso and Mike at Fabio's. Go to Fabio's, go to Fabio's, go to Fabio's, go to Fabio's on High Street. Their takeout situation that they have there is just seamless and flawless. Thank you to Kelly Jackson. Watch Women Changing Our World on Monday at 10:15. Nick Ward, we are going to welcome you back to the show, dude. You crushed it. I loved your real estate analysis. You know that's a passion of mine. This is the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. For Judah Wickower, thank you kindly for joining us today. You have a good afternoon.